Again, we have quite a bit to do. All right, so I need to go ahead and get started. Everything up to question number 77 has been posted. All right. All right, so I will go back and help somebody with 53. If you have a specific question, that's okay. Let's take a look at it. All right, 53. Now, don't be confused about 53 because generally it's supposed to be in alphabetical order. You agree with me? X, Y. So A, B. So A is the X. -5 is the B. All right? So you just are plugging -5 in for B. Can you follow that? Makes perfectly good sense. All right. Anybody else have any questions?
I have a few. Number 70. What numbers are we going to go through? Wow.
As much as we can. All right. Now, I'll take a look at 70 because I think it's a good question to review. All right, so let's look at it carefully. All right. Now, again, what I would like everybody to know is that this you should recognize as the y-intercept. Is everybody with me on this? It has a slope of 2/5. So you should be able to tell me that y equals 2/5 x minus 3. Y equals 2/5 x minus 3. Everybody okay with that? All right. Now from there, you realize that it's written in standard form. All right. So if it's written in standard form, I bet we could just say it's C from there. That's the only possible answer. Now the problem is on some of the exams, since it doesn't really say write it in standard form, it might be a trick question. You with me? I'm not going to do that on the test, but I'm just saying it can be. All right. So let's look at it right off the bat. All right. We see there's no fraction, so I'd have to multiply everything through by 5, right? So it would be 5y equals 2x minus 15. Do you agree with that? Now, which means the 5 goes with the y. So it can't be this one, and it can't be this one. And now it's just a matter of moving things around. So it'd be 2x minus 5y equals 15. So we were right. It was C. All right. Yes, quick.
I forgot how to do the line of best fit.
Okay, so on your calculator, I think I explained that. All right. Here it is right here. You go to Stat, Edit, and then you, under L1, you type in the x coordinates, and under L2, you type in the y coordinates. You hear me on that? And then for after you do type in under L1 and L2 the x and y, you go to Stat, Calculate, and then you do the linear regression. And just hit enter a bunch of times, and it goes through it. What?
So L1 is the X.
Very good. Maybe that's what it says up on the board. I'm not sure. L2 represents the what? Very good. Nothing gets by you. I like that.
Could you do?
Yes, I can do them all. Alessandra, what was your question? Or does anybody else have any questions with this line of best fit? Line of best fit. Guys, as I'm scrolling through, the answers are up here. You can kind of look. Or the answers are in the answer, right? The answers are posted. All right, so you can look them up. What?
Number 74. Yes.
All right, so let's take a look at 74. All right. If we're going to find something that's parallel, what's true about the slopes? They have the same slope. Perfect. So I need to figure out what the slope of this line is right here. So I have to put it in y equals mx plus b. When I put it in y equals mx plus b, the slope is what? The slope is 4. So the slope of the parallel line is going to also be what? The slope of the parallel line is also going to be what? 4. So I'm looking at my answers, and then I cross out A and C because those say negative 4.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Now I'm missing B. All right? I'm missing the y-intercept. All right? So now I just did, because I think it's easier, I'm specifically looking for the y-intercept, I can say y equals mx plus b. And then the slope was what? 4. And then I went through the point negative 5, 3. So I put that in there, and I put that in there. I'm also going to try to show you something else to be smart test taker. Please look up, because, again, the biggest problem is trying to remember everything, and sometimes you're just not. All right? You're just not going to remember things. So for that, please watch. All right? If it passes through the point 5 or negative 5, 3, let's take a look at the graph. So here we go. If I graph the point negative 5, 3, it would be somewhere up here, correct? And then it says that the slope is 4. So if I try to draw a positive slope, the y-intercept, is that going to be positive or negative? Does everybody agree it's positive, correct? Therefore, the only possible answer is what? D. The only possible answer is D. Everybody see what I'm saying? So sometimes just plotting the points can really give you a good perspective on what the answer is. Remember, your objective is to try to narrow it down if you don't know something, not just take a random guess. All right, is everybody okay with that? All right. Wow, if the slope is 0, it's a horizontal line. Well, the answers are posted at the bottom. You with me? The answers are posted. You're supposed to check your answers already. All right. Now, listen. We ended up today at 77, so I just want to go ahead and get started. All right. I want to start with 78. All right. So remember, the inverse just means to do what? Switch the x and y. All right. So it would be, if I switch, negative 1 comma 4. So I'm just looking at my answers. The only one with a negative 1, 4 is what? C. All right. Now for 79, I want you to remember this is the symbol for find the what? Inverse. That's the symbol for find the inverse. All right. So what I want you to do now is I want you to write y equals 3x minus 4. And then to find the inverse, I switch the x and y. So when I switch the x and y, I get x equals 3y minus 4. X plus 4 equals 3y. And then I divide by 3. So y is equal to x plus 4 over 3. So that represents the inverse. All right. Number 80. Write a linear equation in slope-interform to model this situation. A telephone company charges $28.75 per month. Per month represents the slope. All right. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. The $28.75. Now, again, this is 28.75 per month does represent a slope. All right, but they're asking you for the bill. All right, the reason why I knew I made a mistake right off the bat is because it also says what? 10 cents per minute. All right, that is your actual what? Slope. All right, so your cost per month, all right, your cost per month depends upon how many minutes you use, correct? So your cost per minute is going to be what? 0.10 m plus 28.75. You understand that? All right. It's 28.75. That's kind of like your y-intercept. Every month you get charged 28.75. In addition, for every minute that you use. All right. Is everybody okay with that? All right. So now it says write an equation in standard form that passes through 7, negative 3. So 7 comma negative 3. And if it has a y-intercept of 2, that point would be 0, 2. Everybody good with that? So now I need to find the slope. So slope is equal to 2 plus 3 over 0 minus 7 is equal to 5 over negative 7. Is everybody okay with that? All right. Now this right here is my y-intercept. So you should be able to tell me the equation is y equals negative 5/7 x plus 2. Is everybody okay with that? But we need what? We need it in standard form, so I'm not allowed to have fractions. Does everybody agree I multiply everything through by 7? When I do that, that becomes 7y equals negative 5x plus 14, right? And then I move the x over, right? So 5x plus 7y equals 14. Yes?
Is the B always going to be like
Zeros.
Zero.
Yes, that's why it's called the y-intercept. The y-intercept is when the x value is 0. The y-intercept is when the x value is 0.
For the format for the exams, they all going to be
Yes. Okay, we're talking about this right here, though. Stay on task. What?
What is the formula for standard?
Standard form, remember, is just ax plus by equals c.
I was fixing 77. Did you get 24? Because I got 23. Would I round that to 24?
What do you think? Come on,
Yes.
Walker. All right, come on, man. All right, write the slope, intercept form of the equation. So here we go. Again, here I would just identify the y-intercept, right? Now, this is kind of hard, so I always try to tell kids, be careful. I would draw the x and y axis. All right? So in this case, b equals negative 2. Does everybody agree with that? And then my other point up here that I could use to find the slope. So I went up how many? And over how many? So 2/3. So m equals 2/3, right? So y equals 2/3 x minus 2. Everybody okay with that? All right, 83. Y-intercept of 3, so I go up 3. Again, it's kind of hard to see, so let's write it out. All right, so if I go up 3, plot a point. Then from there I go down 3 and over 4. Do we see this? Pretty easy, graphing. Plot the y-intercept, then use the slope. All right, 84. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. That means y equals mx plus b. So I need the m. M equals 4 minus negative 2 over 3 minus negative 1, which is the same as what?
4 plus 2 for 2.
Is that right? Somebody else get 3 halves? All right. Now, in my opinion, let's just review point-slope form.
We have to.
If they said point-slope form, right, we just pick a point, right? So it's going to be y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Does everybody remember that? And now I just plug the x1, y1 in, and I plug the m in. So it's going to be y minus 4 equals 3 halves times x minus 3. Is everybody good with that? Now that's not the right form because it wants it in y equals mx plus b. So y minus 4 equals 3 halves x minus 9 halves. Everybody agree with that? And then I have to add 4. And when I add 4, adding 4 is the same as adding 8 halves. So your equation is y equals 3 halves x minus 1 half. Yes.
What, like, I get the formula, but what is it for? The y minus y1
Remember, that's called point slope.
Oh.
That's called the point slope form. All right, which is what we want on number 85.
When you do the plus 4, are you doing plus 4 to 3 halves x and negative 9 halves?
That's 3 halves x. I don't add 4 to 3 halves x.
So you add it to the negative.
You with me? You're adding constants. You right? Combining like terms. All right. What? Is what? Yes. So this answer right up here, we had to write it in y equals mx plus b form. You with me? All right. Now we're doing point slope, which is really easy because they give us a slope and they give us a what? Point. So it should be y minus 8 equals 1/3 times x plus 2. Everybody okay with that? Everybody good? Okay. So for number 86, write the slope-intercept form. So that just means we're converting it over to y equals mx plus b. So y minus 2 equals 3x minus 12. Y equals 3x minus 10. Not too bad. All right, here we go again. Write the slope-intercept form of the equation line parallel. Now, if it's parallel, it has to have the same what? Slope. So I got to find the slope. So y equals negative 2x plus 5. So the slope of the parallel line is going to be what? Negative 2. Now, what's nice about this problem? This is the what? That is the y-intercept. So the equation in slope-intercept is just y equals negative 2x plus 1. Everybody okay with that? All right. Now, I want something that's perpendicular, right? If I want something that's perpendicular, it would be, yes, the slope of the perpendicular would be the negative reciprocal. So you take the reciprocal of 3 halves, makes it 2/3. All right? And then we're passing through the point 3 comma negative 2. But it says I want it in what? Slope-intercept form. Again, remember, which is y equals mx plus b. So again, I personally think it's easy to just write it in point slope form first and then convert it over. So let's see if you understand what I mean. So this would be y plus 2 equals 2/3 times x minus 3. Everybody good with that? Now distributing the 2/3, y plus 2 equals 2/3 x minus 2. And then subtracting 2, y equals 2/3 x minus 4. Do we have any issues? All right, now again, to me personally, out of everything that we've done, the lines was the hardest. I really think you guys should spend some time practicing. All right, that's why I gave you lots of extra problems. The problems you're going to see on the exam will be the same thing, just different numbers. All right, but that's the hardest part for kids. All right, so now let's take a look at 89. All right, we're into the new chapter. So we subtract 38 from both sides. All right, so I have negative 89 is less than or equal to x, or x is greater than or equal to negative 89. All right. Question. The only thing you have to remember about your inequalities is when you multiply or divide by a negative, you switch the sign. So make yourself a note of that. All right. Say that again. Come on, loud. You sure? Yeah, that's what. Look, make an observation. What? Yes. Yes. Multiply or divide. All right, let's carry on. All right, for number 90, I have to do what to both sides?
Add 3/8.
If you add 3/8, add 3/8. 1/2 is the same as 4/8, right? So m is greater than 7/8. So if you're greater than 7/8, you are looking at. So they agree you're looking at A.
Why? Because that's
If
what
you're greater than 7/8, you're heading towards infinity. Yeah, that's easy. All right. So on 91, we're just multiplying both sides by -2, which means
Oh.
T is less than -8.
Hey.
All right. All right.
Oh, and whenever you divide by negative, it changes the sign.
Yeah. Now again, here a lot of people would grab their calculator, but we know there's no reason for a calculator because all the answers are 12. So first of all, is it positive or -12? -12. So I remove those. Now when I divide by negative, I change the sign. So it has to be D. All right. Listen, you guys are going to have to stop. All right. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm trying to review. If you guys want to go outside and sit, that's fine. All right. Does anybody have any questions with 92? How easy it was to figure out that it was D? All right. So here we go. Now for 93, remember I'm still just going to move the W over here because I want the variable to be positive and over here. So I would have 14 is greater than 2W, right? So 7 is greater than W, or W is less than 7. So if I'm less than 7, I think I'm A again. All right. Now 94, I distribute a negative. So here we go. 8R minus 5R minus 4 is greater than or equal to -31. 3R minus 4 is greater than or equal to -31. 3R is greater than or equal to -27. So R is greater than or equal to -9. Almost. Now, I would not change the sign because I'm not dividing by a negative.
Oh.
Right? I only change if I'm multiplying or dividing by a negative. The answer being negative doesn't change the inequality. All right?
Mr. Stroud, do you have an iPad charger? I'm at 3%.
You can look around. All right, so here we go. Now what you'll be following is y is less than -3. So less than -3 can't be C, can't be, has to be A, right? All right, which compound inequality is here? So it's anything greater than -1 and less than 2. Now it's equal to 2, so it would have to be what? It would have to be D, correct?
95 is actually. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. I did finally make one. All right, so let's do it again. Yeah. Thank you. Listen carefully again. So again, this is kind of a trick question. Because or, now it's an or statement. So that means it only has to be true for one of them. So when you're less than -3, here's -3, you'll be less than -3. And then here's 1, less than 1. You agree with that?
No, greater than.
Less, really?
Oh,
So now it's an or statement. So it only has to be true for one of them. So actually the answer should be, it is C. All right, again, The reason it's C is because it can be what? Less than 1, right? Because these numbers right here are less than 1, although they're not less than -3, correct? It doesn't matter. Let's say this. If it was an AND statement, then it would be everything what? Less than -3. Do you understand what I'm saying on that? Everything less than -3 if it was an AND statement. All right, everybody happy with that? All right, thank you for checking, Nicholas. Here we go. Number 97. If you remember this, subtract 5 from both sides. First, -5, -5. -9 is less than 3t, less than or equal to -25. I'm sorry, -15. That's what I said, +15. Yes, yes, yes. I'm thinking of those French fries. Thank you very much. All right. Divide by 3. So -3 is less than t is less than or equal to. I'm going to let you guys answer. All right, so that means t is between -3 and 5. All right, t is between -3 and 5. So how about this? A is correct. Yes, sir. We just did 96.
We did number 96 and then went back up to 95. So is the bracket
Solid means including. The bracket means including. You hear me?
and then the
Open. Not. All right, here we go. Now we just have to solve these. All right. So add 4t to both sides. So I end up with 7t is greater than 14. So t is greater than 2. Over here now, subtract t, subtract 8. So 3t. So -4. So t is less than or equal to -4. So for less than -4 or greater than 2, less than or equal to, greater than 2, thank you very much. Double check me. C. Everybody good with that? Okay, let's take a look at 99, which inequality corresponds to the graph. All right. Now, if you recall, we said greater than when it's this direction, the absolute value was greater than, right? So it can't be what? It can't be A or, I know, but it can't be A or D to start out. Now, it's a solid dot, so it can't be B. Everybody good on this now?
yeah.
So the answer is C. That's a really good way of doing that. All right. Again, sometimes on the exam you're not going to remember how to do things, but if you kind of look at it, you can kind of figure out the solutions that way. What?
So the solid dot is
Inclusive. The solid dot is inclusive. Very good.
meaning that it can't be blank or equal to.
Okay, 100. All right, solving this absolute value inequality. 2x minus 3 is greater than 4. And you write 2x minus 3 is less than -4. All right. Then we're adding 3. 2x is greater than 7. X is greater than 7/2. 2x is less than -1. So x is less than -1/2. So if you're less than -1/2 and greater than 7/2, you should be able to picture you're going in opposite directions, correct?
Yeah.
So that would mean my answer is A. You're going in opposite directions. You know you're going in opposite directions, you know it's not C. All right, we have 7/2 and 1/2, so I know it can't be B. And then the signs are wrong for D. All right. Okay, which ordered pair is part of the solution? Just plug the numbers in and see. So I'm going to plug negative 16 and 3 in. So 12 plus 3 is less than or equal to 48. Is that true?
No. Because it's not equal to.
It doesn't say equal. It doesn't have to be. Right? In other words, look, is this true? Is 15 less than or equal to 48?
Yes.
Yes, less than, right? It could also be what? Equal to. Right? That's what that or means. One or the other. Is everybody happy with the answer being A then?
Yeah.
All right. Now, in this case right here, we know we're shaded above, so that means greater than. Right? So right off the bat, I know it's not A or what? C. Now I'm looking for a slope. I went up 1 and over 2, correct? Up 1 and over 2 means the slope is 1/2, right? So my answer has to be what? My answer has to be D. Okay, again, we're just plugging in. Did anybody do this one, 103? What is it? The answer is D. All right, so let's check D real quick to see if she's correct. So 1 plus 1 is greater than half of negative 3 plus 3. 1 plus 1 is 2. Negative 3 halves plus 3. 2 is greater than 3 halves. And that's true. Thank you very much. Save us some time. All right, but on the test, you would just do what to those answers? Just plug them in, right? Yes. What 3?
You multiply 1/2.
What 3, Daniel? What's negative 3 halves plus 3? It looks awkward because 3 is the same as 6 halves, right? Negative 3. You with me? All right. Solving this inequality here. Z is less than negative 4. Everybody agree with that? Multiply both sides by 8. So B is greater than negative 8/5. Multiplying by 6. T is greater than or equal to 84. Dividing by 3.6. So Y is that? I don't think it's 6. It's not, definitely not 6. What is it? Negative 5.5. Thank you. So that means Y is less than or equal to negative 5.5. All right. Subtract 2x and add 5. 2x is less than 16. X is less than 8. Does that feel good?
Yeah.
Yeah, back to easy again. It's nice. All right. Distribute 5p plus 10 minus 2p plus 2. 3p plus 12. Is that right? Everybody happy with that? Okay, so now I think that's a good stopping spot. So tonight, try to finish at least, guys, and then keep studying. I promise, just a lot of material. You got to put in the time. You have to put in the time.